Jim Jordan knew more about what Donald Trump had planned for January 6th than any other member of the House of Representatives. Jim Jordan was part of the conspiracy in which Donald Trump was engaged as he attempted to overturn the election. And if the Republicans decide that Jim Jordan should be the Speaker of the House, there would no longer be any possible way to argue that a group of elected Republicans could be counted on to defend the Constitution.
Okay, but like, how bad is that? You know what I mean? Like, is it even a great document anyway? No, I'm kidding. Obviously, that's very scary coming from Liz Cheney. And effectively what she's saying, which maybe folks disagree with, is it can get worse than Kevin McCarthy. And Jim Jordan is worse than Kevin McCarthy. I personally, and Yasmin, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know how, especially without control of the Senate and without the White House. If those two things were different, yeah, absolutely, I would be scared. But Kevin McCarthy did everything that Republicans, extremist Republicans, including himself, including election deniers who are still in office, like Jim Jordan, people who, yeah, supported both the coup attempts inside of the political process and outside of the political process on January 6th, like Jim Jordan, but also, like Kevin McCarthy. Like, I don't know what the difference would be. Are we gonna still be impeaching Joe Biden? Yes. Are we still gonna be kicking Democrats off of their committee positions? Yes. Like, what else is there? And look, maybe I'm asking a terrible question because there's a lot that I don't know that a speaker can do, but Jordan or McCarthy, I'm still scared. And either way, in that role of leadership, what's Jim Jordan gonna, what's he gonna? His responsibility is to still fund the government. That's the priority number one for whoever steps into this responsibility and this role. So what is he gonna do? Like, nope, we're not funding it until we instate Donald Trump as president of the United States. Goodbye. Like, I don't know. It's like fantasy world here.
Yeah, I mean, functionally, again, and you want to be careful with these kind of questions, Fran, because it makes me very nervous to speculate about how something could be worse. But yeah, I think functionally, we'll see a lot of the same things happen under maybe Speaker Jordan as we would under Speaker McCarthy, because as we've seen, McCarthy was very much being controlled by some of the more extreme members of the Freedom Caucus and just the Republicans in general. So I think that'll be interesting going forward. Interesting is like a nice way of saying kind of it'll be terrifying to see. I think another thing to not underestimate is the impact that rhetoric can have. Kevin McCarthy says a lot of terrible things, but Jim Jordan says a lot of worse things. And I think by normalizing some terrible words and things that are, making certain things okay to say out loud, Jim Jordan is dangerous in that sense. Yeah. And then additionally, I think that we'll see somebody who, like Jim Jordan, really, really wants the speakership. And anybody who wants that much power, I think is somebody who you have to be very, very wary of.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, they've said that they want to choose someone who doesn't want it. You're like,
in an ideal world, yeah, I think anybody who covets that much power, I'm very suspicious of. I'm very skeptical of people. I don't trust people in general, though. So maybe, I'm an extreme version of that. But anyone who wants it too bad, I'm like, why? Why do you want it so bad?
It's true. It's very true. But I also think it's, as we've seen, an incredible responsibility. There's so much work involved. You actually have to make good on the promises. You have to make good on the compromises. You have to compromise. You have to work behind the scenes. McCarthy couldn't even do that when it came to not voting his own self out of the seat of speaker. That's what a terrible speaker he was.
Yeah.
So we will see. I feel like it's a double-edged sword. It's a curse as much as it is a position of power.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.